Hi guys, welcome to another Bourbon Santa video. Sam has made a comeback. We meet again, old friend. So what are we going to do this time? So there's a few interesting things. Now, I have reviewed a lot of Sam Houston, 14 year. A whole lot. People have sent me samples from all over the country. And I have the Florida release number 1. And I didn't really love Sam Houston 14 year. I was not in love with it. And in fact, I tended to prefer a Sam Houston 12 year that was from Georgia over any of the 14 years that I had. Now, the Florida release of Sam Houston 14 was one of the better batches that I tried. The Georgia batch was really good. One of the Texas releases was really good. One of the Kentucky releases was really good. There were a few that I just absolutely did not like. The Tennessee batch 1 and a few others. I'm not even going to go through listing all of them because I've had about 14 of them. So I debated over getting a 15 year because a lot of bottles like this in Florida are kind of overinflated price wise. But if I find them at retail, I'm going to grab one because I got to know, does it live up to the hype or does it live up to the gripe? And we're about to find out. So this is a fresh crack, as they say. Hasn't been around the block. It's fresh crack. And I figured we'd go ahead and test this puppy out. Now this is Florida release batch number 1 for the 15 year. It's the same exact mash bill as the 14. This is something that I honestly don't know off the top of my head because I just can't remember in the moment, and I didn't look it up because I didn't think about it before this video. But I just noticed a minute ago that there's a 5 proof difference, a 2.5% alcohol difference between the 14 year and the 15 year. Now, I know they're blending 3 barrels and you're going to have varying proof points in each barrel. So I'm not sure if that was a change across the board or if they're putting separate labels for each one. I doubt it. It has to be that they decided to make the 15 year 103 because they're not going to change the labels like that. And that puts it more in the territory of the Calumet 15, which was 105 proof. So the Calumet 15 is 2 proof points higher. Just a little extra alcohol in it. And we're going to compare that too. So on the side over here, I have the Sam 14 to compare the 15 to. I have the Calumet 15. I have the 14 over there, but I'm not going to compare those. And then I also have, thanks to one of my wonderful patrons, they sent me a sample of the Mississippi batch. I'm not sure what batch 1. Mississippi batch 1. Now, interesting thing that's on the bottle here, and I didn't know this is a thing, and I just noticed it right before I started shooting. His says that his batch size was 2 barrels, and I thought all the Sam Houstons were 3 barrels. I know the Calumets are more. The Calumets are a blend of 19 barrels. But I thought all the Sam Houstons were 3 barrels. So it could be he just wrote down the wrong number. But I just noticed that and thought it was interesting. So I'll be curious to see how my 15 varies compared to the Mississippi. So first, let's nose and taste my new Sammy 15. That's a nice nose. Has a really nice spice level. There's a lot of oak, and not everybody loves a lot of oak. I am in the loves a lot of oak category. If loves a lot of oak was a Care Bear that I could go get at Build-A-Bear, I would go get that Care Bear from Build-A-Bear. It's a super sweet, rich, creamy oak. I don't know if you've ever cut down an oak tree and split it into logs and pieces for fireplace. But if you are cutting down an oak tree and it's still green, it's not a dead oak tree, that white sappy liquid that comes out of the meat of the tree, it's usually really creamy and sweet smelling. I'm getting that in this glass. There's brown sugar, there's caramel, there's a lot of cherry, there's a lot of vanilla, but that really sweet, nice oak is what's really standing out to me. I really like this nose. I'm actually impressed. These are level 4 char, obviously American white oak, 74% corn, 18 rye, 8 barley. So far, I'm loving this nose. Let's taste it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's weird. Huh. It kind of reminds me of a blend between Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and Booker's. Like, I get some familiar notes from each. The dark charred wood from the Elijah Craig, and a little bit of that nuttiness from Booker's. Wow. Yeah. Really nice candied cherry sandwiched between charred wood and dark molasses and brown, like burnt brown sugar and all those, a little bit of that nutty note from the Booker's. Wow, that's pretty trippy, actually. I actually am really, really liking this. I'm very liking this. I gotta tell you guys, I was pretty much 75% expecting to not love this bottle. Wow. It's got a really nice rye spice. It's not super rye flavor forward, but rye feel. You get the spiciness, you get the hug from it, you get the feel of rye on your palate way more than the flavor of rye, which is interesting and kind of unexpected, but it's really good. I'm impressed with Florida Batch 1. So, ooh, man, if you get it a little dizzy, the caramel really jumps forward. Wow, caramel and like sea salt toffee or saltwater toffee. Wow, getting a little air in it really changes it a lot. I'm going to be very curious to see how this develops as I drink into it. So, yeah, let's compare to the 14-year Sam Houston before we go to Calumet and my other 15 sample here. Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, man. The Sam Houston 14-year is so much tamer and just like lacking of flavor. All of those really nice oak notes in this new 15 are missing from the 14. It's just flatter. Yeah. Oh, wow. The 14-year, my Florida 14-year, which I really liked compared to other 14-year Sam Houstons, doesn't even hold a candle to 15-year. Not even close. 15-year is way more interesting, way more expressive with its notes. It's just more in your face. It's not a big proof point difference, so it's not that. It's that extra age, that extra year sitting in the barrel. Yeah, that 14 is just flat comparison. Okay, let's go Calumet 15. Now, the Calumet 15 is nice. The oak isn't as prevalent as in my Sam Houston. This one is more buttery, more cola, more butterscotch, like really nice, chewy butterscotch. It also has a touch of floral note, like cut flowers, but just a touch, just a little sprinkle, little pixie dust of a floral note. Oh yeah, and the floral note comes through on the palate. That's interesting. Okay, so theoretically, this and the Calumet should be the same mash bill, because when you go back and compare the Calumet 14 year, which had the mash bill on the bottle, to the Sam Houston, it was the same mash bill, just different batching sizes, different proof point. And now the 15-year Calumet doesn't have the mash bill on it anymore. So if this is the same whiskey, and these are both 15 years old, and the only difference is this is 3-barrel batch and this is a 19-barrel batch, then obviously you're going to have more barrels kind of evening out the scales and giving you a more consistent version of the whiskey. If they batched the entire thing, all the barrels, you'd have a super consistent and release that everywhere. But that's not what they wanted to do. They wanted batch differentiation, and that's why they did this. A 19-barrel batch, a 3-barrel batch. Now, the Florida release is very turned up on the oak, very turned up on those kind of dark notes and that nuttiness. That nuttiness is non-existent here. Or it's a completely different kind of nuttiness. I was just getting a little bit of a waxy nut feel on this one after I said that. But it's extremely different. This is more like a Booker's nut, flavor-wise, not intensity-wise, flavor-wise. And this is more of a waxy nuttiness. But I'm talking about hints here. I'm not talking about prominent notes. Yeah, the Calumet is just a touch more floral, which is not one of my favorite notes on a bourbon. I don't love a floral note on my bourbon. That's why I have a problem with Russell's Reserve and some other very popular bourbons that have, a lot of that floral, vegetal kind of a note. I don't love that. So, now, Mississippi versus Florida. Who's going to win? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. There's an enormous difference. What the? Way more chocolate on Mississippi. Like cake batter. Like chocolate cake batter. Wow, way less oak. Mississippi is his vanilla and cake batter. Also very much calmer. This doesn't say, I'm sure they have to all be the same proof, but way calmer on the nose. Florida is spicier on the nose. This is super calm. Like I said, chocolate, like devil's food or German chocolate, maybe German chocolate. Either way, that's like cake batter, chocolate cake batter. Vanilla, hint of cherry. Very little rye spice, and really a lot less oak. Oh, there's the spice. The spice comes through on the palate. Wow. There was like no spice on the nose and then the palate hits you with a nice warming spice. It's not prickly, it's not too much, it's very mild, but there is a spice there that's completely missing from the nose. The Florida has a lot of spice on the nose. Also, I'm not saying that in a negative way. A lot of spice, a lot of really nice spice. Really nice oak and all that. Oh my gosh. Huge difference. That's impressive. Impressive difference. This one is a little drying on the finish, and there's a hint of oak bitter that shows up on the finish of Mississippi. Between these two, I'd have to give it to Florida for my personal flavor, my personal palate. The nose on Mississippi is wonderful, wonderful. But the palate is a little flat and then ends drying with an oak spice, which it isn't my favorite kind of ending. I mean, I like happier endings than that. I mean, I don't want to be bitter after. I don't want to walk away bitter. I want to walk away happy. I always want a happy ending on a whiskey. That's the preferred way to enjoy whiskey, is to be happy at the end of your tasting experience. You want a happy ending. And Florida gives you that happy ending. Wow, I'm thoroughly impressed. Okay, Sam Houston, 15-year, the Florida batch is very nice. I absolutely recommend it. It's worth it if... All right, what's the most I'd pay for this bottle? Because it's rare, because it's very limited edition, the absolute most I would ever pay for this bottle is like $200. That's just to have it in the inventory. Is it worth $200? No. It's worth retail. It's worth retail. I would pay retail for this all day long. But if I felt that I had to have this in my collection, the most I would go is $200. And I've seen it way more than that. Way higher than that, sitting on shelves. And it can just sit there and collect dust, because that's too much. $200 is the absolute max I would pay for this bottle. But at retail, heck yeah, I'd grab one. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, well, up next will be Blood Oath Pact 7. So stay tuned for that one coming soon. Until next time, guys, have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, hit the little bell thingamajig to get notifications. I mean, I suffer through these tastings for you guys. I don't do this for me. I can just sit here and drink whiskey in the dark by myself. I don't need to put videos up. I do it for you guys. I put myself through this torture for you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, have a great day.